with the #1 overall pick in the 2024 PWHL Draft, New York selects Sarah Fillier.
Sports icon Billie Jean King in Minnesota last week announcing the first overall pick in the new Professional Women's Hockey League. 24-year-old Canadian Sarah Fillier is an Olympic medalist, 3-time world champion as well, and she's now poised to become one of the faces of the league. And tonight, she's our spotlight. And Sarah Fillier joins me now in studio. Thanks so much for being here.
Yeah, I'm excited to be here.
So, first overall pick for the 2024 season. Congratulations.
Thank you.
How are you feeling?
I mean, I'm so excited. It's still hard to find words. I mean, I just flew back from Minnesota a couple days ago, so trying to soak that memory in with me and my family, it's been a whirlwind for sure.
Talk to me about your goals when you were a little girl, and if this, you know, one day you thought perhaps this would be something that you would do.
Yeah, I mean, I grew up in a huge hockey family. We watched NHL drafts every year, and I think as a little girl, I thought I was going to be the first female NHL player in the league. That was my dream, and to get drafted really wasn't a reality until I think last year when I watched the first draft in the PWHL. So this dream is it's been going on for a long time, but to see it kind of come to reality is you know, been a pretty short moment.
So take me back to the moment when your name was called by Billie Jean King. What was that like?
Yeah, I mean, just see Billie Jean King on stage. She's an icon and a legend, and to hear her say my name and to be able to shake her hand and give her a hug too on stage was one of the coolest moments of my life. And to be able to stand up and hug my parents right away was really cool. Yeah,
this must have been so cool for your parents as well. Talk to me a bit about them and how they have helped you with this journey.
Yeah, I mean, I owe everything to them. I owe that moment to them, and all these, you know, all this recognition for going first to them. You know, I grew up in a big hockey family again, and they would, you know, travel hours all across Ontario, drive me to rinks and practices and games. So really everything that's, you know, come to fruition this last couple of weeks is to them. So
hockey family, where do you think your kind of love for hockey began?
Yeah, that's a great question. I mean, my older brother is 8 years older than I am, so I spent my entire childhood, you know, being at the rink every weekend and watching him play. So as soon as I could get skates on, I wanted to be just like him.
Very cool. And what does he think about everything?
He thinks it's awesome. I mean, he's one of my biggest fans, and you know, during the winter, we'll get out on the lake and play some hockey out there, play street hockey, and he always likes to tease me a little bit that I learned everything from him. So.
You know, it seems as though, you know, women's professional sports, it's picking up a lot of steam lately. There's the WNBA, the PWHL. Tell me a bit about that. What do you think's happening here?
I think it's just media coverage, to be honest. I think you know, making the sport visible to such a wider audience is a huge part. And you know, women have been around in sport for years, and finally, I think they're getting the attention that they deserve. And there's some trailblazer players, you know, coming up and onto the scene, which is just rising the play in both, you know, women's basketball and women's hockey. So I think it's just, you know, it being available to be seen widespread is a huge part of that.
You know, we talked to a little girl who is inspired by the WNBA coming here. Do you kind of feel a bit of a weight on your shoulders as a role model for younger girls in the sport? Yeah,
I think for sure. I think the second you wear that Team Canada jersey and that maple leaf on your chest, I feel like you take on the responsibility of being a role model, and I did that at a pretty young age, and I think all of us trying to build this PWHL league together, the main part of it is just to inspire younger girls.
Do you think that, you know, this is kind of helping to level the playing field when it comes to men and women's professional sports? And do you think that will ever be completely level?
Yeah, I think there's always room to grow. This league now is only going to be 2 years old and has already shown so much success. So I think just providing, again, that media coverage and that keeping that buzz around women's sports, I think it can really take off here.
Well, what was it like for you trying to make your way in what is a male-dominated sport coming up?
Yeah, I played boys hockey all growing up until I was 12 years old. So, yeah, a lot of my teammates were boys, and I really didn't have a place to play at a high level in my hometown in Georgetown until I was maybe 14 or 15. So to go to the rinks now in Georgetown and see really high-level hockey for young girls is, there's been so many steps taken since I was there, so it's really encouraging to see.
Yeah. Well, why do you think it's so important to keep having this conversation, keep having barriers broken for younger generations?
Yeah, I think it's just about the conversation at this point, and again, keeping investing and coverage and doing things like this to talk about the game and keep the conversation going. The talent's there, and just making hockey more accessible for young girls and young boys, I think, is key.
Mm-hmm. And what do you think it would have meant to you to have more role models? I mean, there were some, but when you were coming up, more role models that are women that you could look to and say, yeah, that's what I want to do one day.
Yeah, I mean, it would have been a dream for sure, but I remember going to camps that, Canadian Olympians put on for girls in, Georgetown and Oakville and Halton, and those kind of sparked my dreams. So the fact that we have so many more well-known hockey players that can go run camps in their hometowns or go speaking at different events, I think we'll be able to cover a lot more young athletes.
Talk to me a bit about your training and how intense that is and what you've been up to in the off season.
Yeah, I've honestly just kind of taken a deep breath these last couple of weeks after the draft, after graduating from Princeton, and and once July hits, it's full swing of off ice training and skill training.
Is it a lot to balance? Is it a lot to juggle?
Yeah, I think it can be, but
yeah.
Luckily now that it's a professional women's hockey league, this is my job. So my job is just going to work out at a gym and skating every day. So I'm happy doing it.
There's and I've talked to other players about this as well. There's the physicality of the sport, but then there's that mental acuity that you have to have. Mm-hmm. How do you not only train your body, but also your mind to have that sharpness and that focus?
Yeah, I think it takes a lot of practice, if not more than physical practice. And I was a psychology major at Princeton, so I love the mental side of the game. I love working on mental skills and having conversations with mental sports professionals. It's a huge part of the game once you get to elite levels.
You are no stranger to success on the ice. You helped Team Canada win the gold at the 22 Olympics. Just last year, you were named MVP at the World Championships. Mm-hmm. What's your plan to keep that kind of first pro season going?
I think it's just training with people that I've been training with for the past couple of years. Luckily, there's a lot of us here in the Toronto area, so we have a great training group that we get to compete at the highest level every day. So just staying on that path. What
are you most excited about? I was chatting with you before we started here, and you said you kind of went to school in New Jersey, mm-hmm. and you were in New York a little bit, but mm-hmm. not any significant amount of time.
Yeah.
What are you most excited about being in New York, and how are you prepping for it?
Yeah, I think I'm just going to love being in the hustle and bustle of a big city. Being in school outside of the city, it was always a super fun thing to go on the weekends and go be a tourist and travel around. But it'll be cool to just go to the different food spots and explore the city with my new teammates. I think will be really cool.
Long way from Georgetown. Is there anything that you're going to miss about back home here in Canada?
Yeah, maybe the slower pace of Georgetown. I've lived here my whole life, so. Definitely will miss that, and obviously a lot of my friends and family are still here, so I think they might have to travel down and see some games.
Sarah Fillier, appreciate the time.
Yeah, thank you.